What's going on, guys? Welcome to What's the Checkdown with Chandler and David. And today is going to be our fantasy draft. We're going to be doing the podcast today. And then on top of that, we're going to have a little bit of our NFC picks going into the 2022 season, and then some tidbits after with some trivia questions. But first off, David, how are you doing today?
Fantastic.
You ready to be our GM?
Yeah, ready to win this draft.
If I'll be yelling at you if you don't. We do have a few people on the pod today to be talking about how they feel, how they're drafting, and all of that. So as long as you are ready to go, we're gonna be starting the draft in just a few seconds here. Yeah. And may the best team draft, I guess. So we have the late picks. We're number 11, right?
Yeah, we're number 11.
Oh, we're screwed. We're already done.
I think we'll be okay. I've got a strategy. I got my strategy. Yeah.
All right. I love it. Other than that, I'm excited for this to go. But do you have any last thing to say before we start the draft?
Good luck to everybody, I guess.
All right. So the draft will be starting in a minute here. While we're going through, we will just talk about, I guess we can start our NFL, our NFC, and just talk about kind of what we feel going on and kind of decide what we want this season to look like, I guess, for both of us. What do you say about that?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. So first off, going to wait for this league to start. It's 8 for Eastern time. Oh, we
started.
It is started. We already have our first pick. Jonathan Taylor is the first pick in the draft. How do we feel about that?
Great first pick. Yeah.
So who are we avoiding right now, in your opinion?
Derrick Henry would have been an avoid for me, to be quite honest.
Okay, why do we avoid Derrick Henry?
Well, too high for me. Derrick Henry's too high of a right now. Like, he's valued a little higher than I think he should be. He got injured last year. He's 1 year older. He's a running back that gets a lot of carries and gets his body beat up a lot. So for me, it's just too high. Too much. So
the comeback for Christian McCaffrey. How do we feel about this year with Christian McCaffrey?
Another risky pick, to be quite honest. Like, I've kind of tended to stay away from these guys in any of the drafts that I've done so far, and I'm pretty happy with it. But they could, if they stay healthy, they will have great years for sure.
I get you. Christian McCaffrey, to me, is if he has a year, he'll have the best year possible. It just depends on how they use him. Maybe having a quarterback that's going to be steady this year might be helpful. Maybe Baker will actually help him out. Austin Eckler is the fourth pick.
Austin Eckler, great pick.
Okay, so you like Austin Eckler in the first round?
Yeah, I like him in the first round, just not first overall. Which we had to talk about this. I slept through my other draft and got auto-drafted Austin Eckler, so not the best.
So running back heavy so far in this first round.
Very running back heavy.
How do you feel about that?
Though. Good call.
Okay,
very
really?
Yeah. I think if you can go with a running back first, like a very solid running back first, that'd be your best call right now. With the way that our scoring system is, I would say that's your best bet. My strategy is a little different.
Okay.
I don't think
Should I won't
give it all. I won't give it all away, but it's going to be a little bit shocking to most.
Okay. Now we have Sean up right now. Once Sean has his pick, we're going to have him talk what his method to his madness was for this first round pick, if he is available. But okay, Cooper Kupp, the first receiver. So, Sean, if you are on the call, unmute yourself if you can and kind of just explain to us why you went with Cooper Kupp as Jefferson and Chase come off quickly.
Well, there goes my strategy right out the window.
Sean, are you there?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. So, can I swear on this podcast?
So, why are we going with Kupp?
I'm going with Kupp because it seems to me that as a Hawks fan, my luck is just in the trash. Congrats on your Broncos, David, securing Russell. And also giving a bag of hammers named Drew Lock at quarterback. Oh. So, you know what? Cooper Kupp's playing against the Seahawks. As a Seahawks, he's playing against the Seahawks twice a year. Our secondary right now, half of them will end up selling insurance in 6 months. So Cooper Kupp bet in that aspect, considering who he's playing in several aspects, both out of division and the Seahawks. Apart from this Hawks, obviously the Cardinals have an okay secondary. The Niners have quite a good secondary. I am concerned a bit about that, but I still definitely see consistent value there. It's Matt Stafford's second year in Sean McVay's system.
Yep, it's going to be good.
Exactly. It's only going to go up, which sucks so much as a Hawks fan. I know for a fact I'm going to be seeing these IKEA jerseys all over the place, and the fact that I have to watch Cooper Cup now, fuck, pal. But you know what? I'll gladly. You know what? Hey, it's for the draft. I'll take it. It's not ideal.
We'll bring you back too. Don't worry. You have a few more draft picks. We'll get to you again. But I appreciate your input, and don't worry, those IKEA jerseys are going to be selling like crazy this year.
Oh, E-Man.
So the last couple of picks, we had Trey go with Jamar Chase, obviously. We had Najee Harris come off the board, Dalvin Cook, Joe Mixon, and you went with Davante Adams with our first pick. I love it. You know I love Davante, one of the best route runners in the league. We have Swift and Kamara. So where are we going now, David? What are we thinking for our second round pick?
I'm going to go with Stephon Diggs.
Okay.
2 receivers off the bat, but two top receivers.
Okay.
The running backs that are left over kind of scare me a little bit. I think we can get better production from some lower guys. So I'm
Stephon
comfortable with Stephon Diggs.
You know, I'm okay with that. It's also trade capital too. Say we need to get rid of Diggs down the line for a higher, like maybe a B or a tier running back. We can kind of steal him for Travis Kelce, tight end coming off the board in the second round here. Nick Chubb, so double running backs now for 2 teams.
To be fair, I did have to auto draft for those guys because they are not currently online. So I'm having to kind of pick for them, but those are, I think, so far great teams. Two great picks.
So we got the Nick Chubb and the Travis Kelce coming up. Mr. Jim is up now. Let's see where he goes. No decent running backs, I'm assuming, are on the board anymore. I don't know if I have it here. I might be able to pull it up because I am curious at who's actually available. Okay, so I do have it here. Let's see what running backs are available. Aaron Jones, Saquon, Javonte, and Leonard Fournette. Yeah, I agree with you. I am not high on any of those.
Yeah. I think to be quite candid, I think I'm gonna go with like some I'm gonna end up picking a couple of rookies.
Okay.
And kind of see how they play out. I think there are 2 rookies that I'm currently looking at. But if somehow Javonte happens to fall, I mean, I might have to pick him up too.
All right, we'll see how it goes. We have CeeDee Lamb coming off the board for Jim, and now we're waiting to see who Trey goes with. So Keenan Allen. That's
an interesting one for me.
Now, Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans, AJ Brown, T. Higgins, Deebo Samuel were available.
Still on the board. That's
Saquon,
wild.
Next running back. If we do get an opportunity on our next pick, I do have a suggestion, but that's when we get there, of course. Saquon coming off the board. How do you feel about Saquon going into this year being a Giants fan?
I think he'll stay healthy. I think they've kind of done better on the O-line. I think I'm not necessarily a run blocking O-line, but they've improved the O-line, which will be good for him, good for Daniel Jones too. I think Debo does like to throw the ball quite a bit, so he'll get a lot of receptions. I think that'll be good for him. But yeah, I'm not super worried about him this year. But you know, we've said that like the last 2 or 3 years now. So.
Now, I will say, I think that possibly Sean got a good steal in this draft with Debo, because even if you don't start him at receiver, this is actually who I was wanting you to go for, because Debo is a great flex player. He's probably one of the best flex players you can have in the league.
Yeah.
So great pick, Sean. You can come off mute for just a couple of seconds and explain what your thought process was on that if you're available.
Hey, thanks, Chandler. Diana. So regarding Deebo Samuel, My thought process is the fact that Shanahan's going to be moving him on fly motion and quick passes multiple times for Trey Lance. I mean, again, with quarterbacks, as you know, Chandler, it's definitely more of a momentum kind of thing, right? And so those quick, easy passes are going to be really what Shanahan's looking for, whether through Kittle or Deebo Samuel, right? And again, based on what I've watched from Shanahan, he's going to use that and then develop deep route concepts with Brandon Ayuk, right? So then that way, Trey Lance is taking those shots deeper down the field with Ayuk. Now, Ayuk's still a stud with the ball running it, whether or not it's through a quick option, fly, whatever. But nonetheless, Deebo Samuel is going to be a safe bet for at least a high number of receptions. And we'll see. We'll see what happens from there, right?
Yeah, but I like the pick though. That's a good pick. He's someone that's a good flex position. Like I said, I wouldn't start him as a wide receiver. I would put him straight into that flex because I don't even think at this time you're going to get a running back that's going to score as high as him. And I think receivers are going to score really high this year.
I couldn't agree more, man.
Agreed.
Yes. So going into this picks again now, Aaron Jones comes off the board, Mike Evans off the board, and Josh Allen, the first quarterback. Do you think he is worth a second round pick at this point?
To me personally, I do not like to draft quarterbacks any higher than like a 6. And he is the first quarterback to come off. I believe people will start drafting quarterbacks soon, but
they're going to freak out now.
I personally, I do not like. I feel like there we
go. Yeah, Justin Herbert, next quarterback, Javonte Williams and Justin Herbert. Now that team, I'm not going to lie, the instant replay.
Looking good.
He's looking good. So far, he's picked clean. Jonathan Taylor, Javonte Williams, and Justin Herbert. Looking like he likes the AFC West out there. He probably is an AFC West fan.
I mean, he's probably he's pretty good at drafting from what I've seen so far. But that's just from what I've seen so far. We'll see what happens in the next few rounds. I don't know. The strategy is a little wonky to me, but that's just me.
I mean, 2 running backs and a quarterback to start. We have a running back and a quarterback here. Let's see where Tater goes. Very interesting first 2 picks. Derrick Henry really high on, Josh Allen really high on. I don't know if I love it, but I love the audacity to do it. I mean, Derrick Henry's going to have 2 games this year where he scores 40 points when he plays the Jaguars anyways, right? So about him.
Don't be self-deprecating with your guys. You guys are really fine.
So looking at the preseason so far while we have this draft going on, how do you think your Giants are going to look going into the 2022 season?
Oh man. To be honest, like I'm pretty excited. I think Daniel Jones has had like a pretty decent preseason. I think like the only big issue and big worry that I've had with the Giants for a while now has been their receiving core. Lots of like injuries on the receiving core. Shepard can't seem to stay healthy. Kadarius Toney doesn't seem to want to be there, which is a pretty decent issue. But I mean, he's still here and he's a great player. So I think I'm optimistic. I don't know the exact words, but I'm like very like cautiously optimistic. Yeah, that's the word.
What is what do you think we have for our record? What are you going with?
Oh, I'd be happy with an 8-8. I don't know if we'll get there, but I'd be happy with that.
So don't forget, there's 17 games. Are we 8-9? Or are we 9-8?
Oh, I'll say 9-8 just because I'm a homer, you know. But we'll see.
Okay. So Tyreek Hill comes off the board next. So in your mind right now, while we're going to our pick, what is your mentality? Don't give me away. Like, what are you really thinking about? Are you happy where we're sitting? Are you questioning?
Oh yeah, no. I like. There's so much talent still left on the board. Like even at running back, like I'm. Like we've got 2 receivers already. We got our starting receivers already. I'm not worried about tight end. I'm not worried about quarterback. Like we can
Tom Brady.
That is very, very interesting.
All right. So do you want to talk about the NFL 100?
Oh my good. Number 1. Here's the thing. It's voted on by the players. So obviously a lot of players have respect for Tom Brady. He's won is it 6 or 7 Super Bowls? So like you can't really say much about that. But as of last year, best player, I don't know about that. I think that was a little bit that's just like, it's more of a legacy thing at this point to me. And the fact that he's doing it at such an old, at such an older age is probably why they have voted him as number one. But personally, I could count like at least 5 people that I would put above him on that list.
Yeah. So I don't think, number one overall best player in the NFL. No, he is the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time, like we said, but he is not the number one player at this point in his career in the NFL. Absolutely not. Like Mahomes is like number 9 on the list. Tell me how that's possible. Like, what are we thinking?
I'm okay. I was okay with that spot for Mahomes. If I'm being completely honest,
but I can't put Brady above him.
That I can't either. I don't think
Josh Allen, like Aaron Donald, even Jalen Ramsey. Like, if we're going respective positions, like truly.
Lots of people could have been put above them.
Kyle Pitts.
Wow.
What's your thought here?
I feel bad taking people's money. That's my thought at this point.
Wow. So Kyle Pitts, crazy. I think, does not have a good year. I think he has a good year. He's okay, but he's not going to score touchdowns.
I don't know if he's going to have the same kind of year as he did last year. I think he
didn't even have a good year. Like, he had a good receiving year, but same thing with Julio. Just can't score touchdowns in the Falcons. I don't know what it is when you get to the red zone, but I guess the black and the red doesn't make sense. They just can't see the red zone. They can't see the end zone. They just don't know what's going on. They don't know how to score the touchdowns.
Okay, Sean, taking your time. I like it.
Maybe he was going for Kyle Pitts. Maybe he wanted Pitts, and now his life is messed up.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Does Sean take Russell Wilson this draft? That's the real question.
Oh no.
No, he said.
Wow.
Interesting.
No, I mean, I'm again, I'm all for the calls and when he's in bed with his wife and everything, but right now I'm hoping to make that victory call from this draft. I'm caught between 2. Ooh, I'll tell you guys who I'm caught between. Yeah, you know what? Let's do it. Okay.
AJ Brown, another great flex pick. I like this.
Yeah, very early to me personally, but I like it for you. I love it for you.
I appreciate it. I was caught between him or should I say it? Yeah, sure. Mark Andrews.
Okay.
Just because, I mean, Mark Andrews, he's kind of like he generates points and he doesn't have a very high injury history, like a very like recurrent for lack of a better word. So I was caught between him or AJ Brown, but I mean, again, what kind of passes do you really think Jalen Hurts is going to be set up with? Right?
No, it's going to be a lot of screen passes. It's going to be a lot of quick outs, a lot of quick slants, and it's going to be a lot of running plays. AJ Brown and Deebo Samuel right now are going to be the same players in those offenses.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there might still be some value regarding the Philadelphia.
The Eagles are going to be good this year. Absolutely. Eagles are going to be good this year. So Leonard Fournette and James Conner coming off, running backs looking a little bit lower, really running back heavy so far.
Still not worried.
Oh, not at all. Running backs are one of those things that I agree. I absolutely agree with you.
Going exactly how I want it to go right now.
Michael Pittman coming off the board pretty high. I don't know how I really do feel about the Colts. I know they will be good, but like they're very odd to me. They're very confusing being a Jaguars fan, to be honest with you. Mark Andrews coming off the board. So 2-3 tight ends now. Deontay Johnson, is that who that is? I'm obviously going crazy. And then going up for David now. Let's see where our GM goes with this pick.
Chandler, you're gonna like this one, I think.
Yes, I am. Thank you. I was looking at him. That is a great spot for Josh Jacobs. Yeah. We know that I'm high on Josh Jacobs. I think that the Raiders offense is going to be really good this year playing in that division. I do think they'll have a very, very solid year. What was your process on this pick? Why'd you go with Josh?
To be honest, I was hoping Mark Andrews wouldn't go off the board, and I was going to pick him and then go Josh Jacobs. But Josh Jacobs to me just it like as a RB1 seems like a great pick. Like he's going to have a very laxed front set or box. He's going to see a lot of 6-man, sometimes even 5, depending on who they play. And I just feel like that's going to be like a great. He's going to have a great year, to be honest.
So where are we thinking now? Elliott, Higgins come off the board.
I'll let you pick this one because one of them is your guy, and I'm just going to say it now. I'm going either David Montgomery or Travis Etienne.
Etienne. Now, would you want to go George Kittle this high, or do you want to wait?
I would not want to go George Kittle this high, to be honest.
Okay, that's fine. I'll go Travis Etienne. I'll take Etienne up this high. I'm okay with that. I'm comfortable with that. Okay. I think that he's gonna be good for the flex position. I don't think he's good for RB2. I think he'll be.
I don't worry. I have my RB2 right up here. Don't worry about it.
I know who your RB2 is.
I don't think you do. I promise it's not who you're thinking. He is very
Daniel Jones.
There you go. Daniel Jones. That's gonna be your quarterback, though.
Nope, absolutely not.
I'm picking Daniel Jones.
I am going to make sure.
I'm going Daniel Jones, Davis Mills.
No, honest to God, if you do both that, I absolutely tell you, I will pick Deshaun Watson over both those players, and I will start him for all 17 games.
You want Deshaun Watson in week 11? We're about to be the best team.
I hope you don't pick Buccaneers, man.
Oh God. We all know how I feel about the Deshaun Watson case. We all know how I feel about Deshaun Watson. Yes. I don't even think we're going to draft any Browns players because I don't know who they're going to throw the ball to, and Nick Chubb's off the board. I don't think Kareem Hunt's a great pick either.
I don't really trust what's his name? His name is on the tip of my tongue. Their quarterback right now.
Brissett.
I don't really trust him that much. Not my favorite. Not my favorite team right now in terms of like offensive players. They're gonna have a killer defense, but I don't know about their offense. I think they're gonna struggle on offense quite a bit.
How do you feel about Travis Etienne going into this year? Did you watch any of them in the preseason?
I did not watch the preseason. That's why I left it up to you because I figured you watched quite a bit of it and he
looked pretty clean. He's good at cutting. His receiving will be good. And Patrick Mahomes coming off. Cam Akers after. Good pick with the Cam Akers. 3 running backs for Ian.
I would have stayed away from Cam Akers, to be quite honest.
Just because of injury history?
No, not even that. I just don't trust any kind of Sean McVay running back. Like I feel like Sean McVay is just so wishy-washy with the way he with who is the number one running back that I just never I like at least this early. I wouldn't have taken Cam Akers, but also if he has a good year, then this is a great pick.
So how do you feel about the Patrick Mahomes pick going that in the 4th round?
I mean, to be fair, it is an auto pick, but I do think Patrick Mahomes should be the next quarterback off the board after Josh Allen and Justin Herbert have gone. Tom Brady was a wild one to me, but that's
honestly in the 4th round to get Patrick Mahomes, I think isn't bad at all. I don't know why everyone's low on Patrick Mahomes this year. I don't get why they don't think he's going to play well. George Kittle coming off the board in the 4th round. How do you feel about this with Trey Lance as the new quarterback and Jimmy Garoppolo extended for another year with a no trade clause?
Jalen Waddle, good pick. I genuinely, I don't think George Kittle is Cortland Sutton. That was my guy. That was going to be my guy. Pick. That's a great pick.
The number 1 wide receiver in the 4th round. That's a good pick.
Great pick. That's a steal. I'm taken back by that. That's a good pick.
Kittle, Trey Lance.
George Kittle. I know I like Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance is going to have a good year. George Kittle for me. just never really performs that well in fantasy. Like, you know how like Mark Andrews just had a run where he like had like, I don't know, 3 or 4 games where he was just going off in fantasy. George Kittle's just never had that. He's a great football player. Great football player, not
top 3 tight end. Like,
not for
and
that's
fantasy. The big thing about tight end is you got to be a great football player. You can't just be a. So Lamar Jackson from Sean in the 4th round. What do you feel about that?
Great.
You like that one?
Yeah, that's a good pick. I think that's a pretty good spot to get Lamar. Especially if Patrick Mahomes just went off the board. I feel like our quarterbacks will start getting picked soon. I'm not super worried about quarterbacks. Like, I mean, the big deviation from how many points, or the deviation from how many points quarterbacks generate in fantasy are like few and far between. So I'm not too worried about getting points.
I'm looking at it now. I'm comfortable with a lot of players, and my dark horse MVP is still on
still on the board, and will still be on the board when we eventually draft a quarterback. So I'm not too worried about that, unless someone here has done their homework.
Yeah. So Sean, picking Lamar, why do we choose him over the other quarterbacks available?
In Tyler Lindenbaum, I trust for one thing.
Okay.
I really liked that draft pick at center. I thought it was excellent value. His film is really great. And at the same time, he's a smaller center, sure. But again, he's excellent for zone blocking, which means we can expect more of those kind of plays, right? Which are great for setting up options, right? Quarterback options. And
sounds good.
I'm behind that.
Now, how do you feel about him not really having necessarily a top receiver passing to?
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of an issue. I think, I mean, again, it's going to be a lot of quick game kind of things, but I mean, he does have Mark Andrews, and Mark Andrews is a big mismatch for many of the linebackers, particularly in the AFC North.
Mm-hmm.
So props to the person who selected Mark Andrews, but I also think Lamar Jackson's points I'll be able to reap some reward off of that.
I like it. I like the pick. I'm hoping that Lamar will use his feet this year and be able to ball out. I think it's gonna be tough going into that. That AFC North is gonna be very crazy this year. I don't think the Browns are gonna be in it though for very long. So Terry McLaurin comes off. We have Mike Williams in the 4th round. I know that David isn't high on Mike Williams as a player going into, I think, season 8, if I'm not mistaken. I'm throwing that out there, but I feel like he's been in the league for freaking ever. He's probably only like 24 years old, but
I think he's like, this is his 3rd season.
Anyways, David, if you need to go ahead, take a minute. But we have Jerry Jeudy now coming off the board. Darren Waller, the tight end, coming off now. Darren Waller is a great tight end. I think he's going to have a great year. DJ Moore coming off right after. DJ Moore, I think, with Baker Mayfield, will have a great opportunity. He's going to be the number 1 receiver in that offense. And for the entire Panthers, it is a make it or break it year. They did get Laviska Shenault today from the Jaguars, who to me is a poor man's Deebo Samuel. So if they know how to utilize him well, he will play really well in that Carolina offense with Christian McCaffrey, with Laviska Shenault coming on the end, inside and out. Now Tater's up here. He got Jerry Jeudy before. I don't know what to think about Jerry Jeudy. And Jerry Jeudy, if I'm not mistaken, I could be crazy, I'm remembering this off the top of my head, is suspended at the start of the season, if I'm not wrong. But either way, when he does come back, he will be one of the biggest targets for going into it for the big man. And Russell Wilson will have to make sure that he gets the ball to Jerry and pass to Cortland Sutton. It's going to be a stacked crew when that team gets back. If I'm not mistaken, Jerry Jeudy is gone for 6 games. If I'm wrong about that, David?
Something along those lines. I'm not exactly sure, but I don't think you're completely off with that number.
Okay, it's either 6 or 4. I could be wrong on that. And now waiting for the next pick, Elijah Mitchell. How do we feel about that?
Good pick. I think he will have to share the backfield with Wilson, I believe is the
Albert Wilson. Yep.
He's gonna have to share the backfield with him, and I think that's they are a run heavy team. He's gonna also have to share with Debo, which is another too many mouths to feed, in my opinion. But I do he is a solid pick at this point.
I agree. Going into this, just Mike Williams going into his 6th season, actually.
6th. Wow.
Yeah. I told you, I feel like he's been around for a lot longer than that. I don't know. Him and Keenan Allen, I feel like are just Dave Montgomery coming off, and David is hurt that David is off the board. Are we right, David?
No, I'm not too hurt. That's not my guy. That's not the guy I'm hoping to snag before anyone else catches on. But yeah, no, that's a good pick. I think that's a solid pick. He is the number 1 receiver or running back. He is going to have, again, a shared backfield, but I think he is the definitive number 1. So
he's a great passing back too. So I agree with you there.
Especially if you already have Christian McCaffrey, it's a good supplementary pick for Christian McCaffrey. Great second running back in your offense. Does have a little bit of injury problems, I believe, but what running back doesn't, right? So
right, yeah, that's very true. A lot of them are hidden too, right? So that's the thing about running backs. I think David Montgomery will work well. Justin Fields is going to need a lot of help. Being able to run the ball will help them, and he's been surprisingly in that Chicago scheme for solid the last 3 years, I would say. The starter or up there. So DK Metcalf, the Seattle boy, getting sad now. DK Metcalf is off right before him. Miguel with that pick. How do we feel about DK Metcalf?
Yeah. I'll let Sean take this one. That's his guy. Sean, you got anything?
Yeah, it's good value in the 4th round. But that being said, we do have to consider, it's a bag of hammers throwing him the football, who might end up getting clocked by another linebacker in the locker room. So, Gino has a pretty, his medium to deep passes are quite, are normally quite accurate, but that's if he makes the right decision. And who's, really, they're going to double up DK for the most part. I think this year, well, actually, never mind. I'm going to save my tongue for what I believe until hopefully somebody else falls into my lap. And with this pick, here we go. This will be a bit of a reach for some of you, but that's okay. Because
good pick.
You like that pick?
Yeah, I like it. He's their starter, I believe. I don't think he's gonna be sharing the backfield but he is the starter. I think that's a good later in the year pick for sure.
Yeah, that's my
Brandon Cooks. That was my guy. Dang, that's
Davis
crazy.
Mills is gonna be balling out with Brandon.
That's crazy. That's a great pick. Great pick. Bravo to I won't say his name, but bravo to him.
So JK going in the 5th round. What was your thought process on that, Sean?
Again, like David mentioned, definitely, I think that'll produce a lot of value later in the season. But at the same time, right now, Rappaport, him and J.K. Dobbins had a bit of beef, as we saw, and that was more along the lines of whether or not J.K. Dobbins would be ready just for week 1, right? So, worst comes to worst, we're looking at one. He'd be on the bench for 1 week, really. I'm pretty happy. He's an Ohio State back, which sucks to say as a Michigan fan, but absolute. He was a stud at Ohio State. He generates big plays, and he is hard nosed. He consistently averages a pretty high. His yards per carry is quite high. So in the context of points, he's consistent. So
I like it. Jalen Hurts and then Breece Hall coming off. Jalen Hurts coming here. David, I'll save my tongue for this one. What do we feel?
Not a great pick. A little early for Jalen, but hey, that's
so. Yeah, I agree.
Trey's a very
Homer
unconventional
Homer.
Yeah,
the Homer.
I think you'll like this one. I think you'll like this pick, Chandler. I'll let you decide if you like this pick before I even do it, but I'm gonna go with Allen Robinson.
I like that pick. I think Allen Robinson is gonna be a lot better than people think. He's gonna have the Los Angeles Rams effect, just like Matt Stafford did. Oh, this guy doesn't perform. He does good, but he's not like all pro level. Let's put him on a good team. Oh crap, he's an all pro. So we had Joe Burrow was the next quarterback off, Antonio Gibson running back, Kyler Murray, and then Brown come in. Where are we going here?
We are going to go with our final flex player. And this one's going to come a little bit as a shock, but I think he's going to have a good year. We're going to go with one second. I just want to get his name right. Damon Pierce.
Okay.
Houston Texans running back. I think he is going to have a good year. He is their confirmed starter. And
he's a Florida Gator. So I like it.
I think he's going to have a good year. So I think I'll
now back-to-back Arizona picks with the 1-2 combo of Kyler Murray and then Brown. What do we feel with that? How do we feel about that?
It's interesting. I mean, if it hits, it's gonna hit pretty freaking well. So I think it's a bit of a risk, but it's a very well calculated risk in my opinion.
I'm not too high. I know you're not on Hollywood Brown, but I am okay with it. I don't even know who the wide receivers are available right now. Let's see who they had. Amari Cooper, Chris Godwin, Michael Thomas, Adam Thielen. I think all those players are going to be.
Amon-Ra St. Brown still available. Nobody picked him. Wow, that's crazy.
You can't with the Lions. That's the thing. That's the biggest question mark.
I would still pick him. He is going to have a good year. He's a great receiver. He's a good player. And you got to pick good players. I think even with the
Chris
Browns
Godwin coming up, that's a great pick. Amari Cooper, terrible pick.
Chris Godwin is a tough one for me because I don't know when he's going to be healthy, but yeah, that's tough when you get auto drafted because guys who are questionable will get picked, but hey, you got to.
I'm not going to lie though, his team's looking pretty solid. Joe Mixon, Kelsey, Johnson, Mahomes, really, it's a very balanced team. It doesn't look bad.
No, it looks pretty good to me.
Now, out of all the quarterbacks taken so far, who is probably the biggest quarterback you would have avoided at this point?
Tom Brady.
Definitely.
Easily.
Jalen Hurts, I don't think I would hit Jalen Hurts yet. I think
Jalen Hurts has the running potential. That's the upside of his run game way outweighs the downside of Tom Brady's age and literally everything else about Tom Brady. So I feel like Jalen Hurts, not a bad pick on your fifth pick.
Okay. Still a lot of good quarterbacks remaining here too. All the kickers obviously remaining, which is very surprising to me. Justin Tucker is still available. And of course, Evan McPherson, the baller of all ballers, is still available at this point. If you did have to choose a kicker at this point that isn't those two guys, where do you think you would go?
I mean, I would probably go with Tyler Bass. I feel like the Bills do move the ball quite a bit. So, I mean, I'll take anyone on an offense that scores or moves the ball well. That's kind of where I go with kickers. But I definitely would not take a kicker this early.
You're not going to draft Steven Jankowski in the second round?
To be quite honest with you, I might even wait till my very last pick to get a kicker.
Please don't do that.
We'll see what happens.
They can make or break your game. AJ Dillon. Now, here's my thing about AJ Dillon. If he can actually play well and stay healthy, AJ Dillon to me is for some reason reminds me just like J.K. Dobbins. Big, strong, fast, can run through people. It's just that J.K. has shown that he can do it, and then AJ just has not been on the field.
Yeah, AJ also has to contend with one of the best running backs in the game right now. Went what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Went 16th overall in our leagues or in this league. So I don't know. It's a good pick if you already have two running backs, which Jimmy does. But yeah, I don't know. That's a interesting pick for me.
How do you feel about Clyde Edwards-Helaire coming off?
Terrible pick. I don't think he's gonna have a good year. And again, these are all my personal biases, and I accept that. But I don't think he's gonna have a good year. I have no real reason for it. It's just how I feel. These are just my unprovoked
Well, this is fantasy, and we're not saying he's a bad player, but he hasn't performed well in fantasy. He's on a team that's very pass heavy in a division that's very pass heavy, and you really have to put that in consideration. Truly, Saquon Barkley was been the past, other than health issues, was one of the best running backs in the past couple seasons. If he was healthy, he plays on the Giants. Don't pick him if he plays on the Giants, because you know what's going to happen. He's going to get hurt in what has happened the past 3 seasons.
Yep.
So there is some stuff to that. Now Schultz coming off the board as a tight end. I don't trust any player from Dallas.
Yeah, I think that's not a bad pick in my opinion. I think it's a very it's hard to trust Dallas tight ends. Again, I think he does have to compete with another person. I keep forgetting the other tight end's name, but I know that he's not alone in his position, and I think that's a big reason why I wouldn't want to go there. But not a bad pick. Tight ends are kind of tough to assess. I think unless you're the top 3 or top 4.
And comes off with Zach Ertz is next. Before we get to Sean, I do want to say, did you know that Taysom Hill is listed as a tight end?
I did know that, yes.
It's very surprising. So Zach Ertz, Sean.
I will be staying away from him, though.
Why not, right? Zach Ertz coming off the board. Why did we go with Zach here?
Another reach, but I think that this pick is more it's more specifically for earlier on in the season. Cliff Kingsbury's offense really, as we all know, that first half of the season, they pop off, right? I think particularly with DeAndre Hopkins out for 6 weeks with that suspension, I think that's definitely going to get Kyler to, again, Kyler's still got options on the outside, i.e. Marquise Brown.
Gross.
But Marquise Brown is also going to, well, I say that, but at the same time, Marquise Brown may end up lining up mainly in the slot, right? And so if Kyler's eyes are looking mainly in the slot, I think Ertz is always going to be a safe bet there as well, especially because again, Ertz is a very he has great play recognition. He knows where the soft parts are in various zones. He was renowned for that in Philly. He was renowned for that in Arizona. So.
Zach Ertz is probably one of the best receivers. I know he's a tight end, but one of the best receiving players when it comes to the red zone. I feel like he is the guy that you go to when it's first and goal from the 5. He's who you find. He's a big body. I assume he played basketball in his career because the way he boxes out people is just profound. He is a great route runner for a tight end position.
Exactly. My thoughts exactly.
So I do like the pick, and Kyler is going to be running around. Zach is good for busted plays. Kyler is going to have a lot of busted plays this year, like he always does. So that's a really good pick too. Coming up with Miguel up next. Now, David, we have Juju Smith-Schuster. Yay or nay?
Good pick.
Hopkins coming on after.
Hopkins. That's bold. I wonder how many. Oh, he has 2 receivers already. That's
but
fair.
I guess that's fair. But first 6 games, not going to be. Does he come out with a vengeance? Do you think?
Probably. I think again, this will probably do him some good because he'll be well rested. He won't have played for 6 weeks. He'll be a little rusty at first, but I think carrying into the back half of the season will be
great. Can I give you my hot take of 2022?
Yeah.
Cliff Kingsbury's offense won't be the same as it was the first 8 weeks because DeAndre Hopkins won't be there. His offense will be evolutionized. It will change because it has to, because he'll actually be gaining a solid player.
I do agree with that. I do think it won't be as bad again. And Kyler won't be playing as much Call of Duty in the back half of the season. So I think it'll be probably pretty good for everyone involved in that situation.
I don't even know why you played the Vanguard, because everyone said it was trash. So I don't know why that was a focus going on in this year. Now, Modern Warfare 2 coming out this year does look pretty solid. I'm not going to lie. I will be picking it up myself.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if Kyler can resist the temptation, but
I may be missing some film time for the podcast just so I can play some Modern Warfare 2 if it is.
I mean, if you're missing film time, I don't know. Kyler might be missing some too.
So Michael Thomas coming off. Now, if Michael Thomas was 100% healthy, where do you think he actually comes into the draft?
Oh, I would have probably, I think like third round. He's a good third round guy. I think third round is third, fourth. I wouldn't go any earlier than third though, just because again, he to me, I don't think when last seen he was a great fantasy receiver, but he was one of the top receivers in the league. So you got to pay him some respect. He's obviously gonna have a good year. He's gonna have a solid year. It's kind of like a Mike Evans type deal where he's good for 1,000 yards each year. And so if you're guaranteed 1,000 yards, I mean, you got to go at least top 5.
Are we doing PPR in this one?
We are half PPR, I believe.
Okay, so that's when Michael Thomas comes in handy, right? So that's so your St. Brown coming off in the sixth round. You like the St. Brown. He's going to be the number one receiver. Surprisingly, Hawkinson is still available. Rashad Bateman coming off. You think he's a bum, correct?
No, I think he's great. I think Rashad is gonna be good. I think, like I said, I think he is a better receiver than Marquise Brown. Marquise Brown's just fast. You can't teach speed, which is fair, but you can if you're a good route runner and you're semi-fast, which Bateman is, you're still going to be a very good receiver.
That's very true. So we're getting near the halfway point in the draft now. Looking a lot of wide receiver heavy in the past couple rounds here. Some quarterbacks off the board. A lot of quarterbacks are still available. Saying the top quarterback available is Russell Wilson is crazy to me. Out of the 3 top guys there, we have Aaron Rodgers, Dak Prescott, and Russell Wilson. Where would you go at this point?
Dak Prescott, easily.
What's the reason for that?
I think the Cowboys offense is always explosive. And again, they're explosive because they somehow find a way to either get down real big or just beat up on really, really terrible teams. And either way, you're getting at least from Dak Prescott, you're getting at least 20 points each week. I don't think you're going to have a week where he's not over 20. So for me, that's a pretty solid quarterback to have this late in the draft.
It's funny to me that Dak Prescott will never be considered in the MVP contest, but he is the pad statter or the stats patter of all time. There's Hawkinson coming off the board for Tater. Yeah. What do we think about Hawkinson at this point in the draft?
It's a good pick. Again, when I think about pass catchers, shoot, that's my guy.
Is that your guy? Dallas Goedert? Is that who?
Yeah, that's my guy gone. But that's okay.
Wilson coming off the board.
Yeah.
Ooh, so Sean is up now. We'll get him after Russell Wilson off the board. We'll get his opinion on that as well, and then what his pick is coming up here. But TJ Hawkinson and Dallas Goedert coming off. Why do we want Dallas Goedert?
I think Dallas Goedert is a very solid tight end. He always seems to he gets a lot of targets. He's a good pass catcher. He's just for me, when I look for a tight end, I do want people who will produce at least 7 points each week, if not more each week. And I think Dallas Goedert is a guy that can do that. And that was my guy that I've had in my draft on my draft board since the beginning. But you have to pivot in a draft like this, and I've got a pretty good pivot if he doesn't go before we get there.
So yeah, if we do, whenever we get there where you think you have your guy, let me know, because I will give you my opinion on that. So for that, Russell Wilson coming off the board, how do we feel Russell Wilson's season goes? Does the hand come back healthy?
Yeah, I think he'll still have a good season. I think, again, that's why I was kind of taken back by the Courtland Sutton pick, because that was my guy, and I think that he's gonna have a good season. And if he has a good season, that must mean Russell had at least decent season. And I think he's gonna have a Russell Wilson type season, like very good start to the season, kind of streaky at times, but will still be, like, again, one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league. So
I can see that. Russell Wilson's interesting. And then Walker, really? Okay, Homer, if you're here, why do we go with a Seattle running back? People don't go for Seattle running backs or Baltimore running backs, and you went with two of them. Why is this?
Well,
this is interesting.
It is, but Walker can catch out of the backfield, right? And so, again, I look at the quarterback situation there, and I think Walker's going to have some production with receptions, like coming out of the backfield, right? Now, again, whether or not it's Rashad Penny or DJ Dallas, which, you know what, I'll say it out loud. I think DJ Dallas is a good value, very, very late round factor. And I mean, Chandler, you watched the preseason, right? So
I know you guys are high on Dallas. I know that everyone in Seattle really wants him to perform.
He's a flash player, and so I definitely think he's value in the late rounds. I did pick Kenneth Walker primarily because I am a homer, but at the same time, watching him in Michigan State, just the way he ran, I really think he has a skill set that, I mean, David, you can speak to this as a former running back. I think he has a skill set that's really going to translate. And Rashad Penny, I was caught between Walker and Penny, but Penny's flash, but man, if he can just stay healthy, you know?
Yep. So now for the Russell Wilson pick, how do we feel about that this high?
It's high, but I'd certainly think, you know what? I think it's good value in the 7th round, you know?
Yeah.
Like wow, that kind of counteracts what I said. But I think Russell, I think Denver's offense will start slow, but I can certainly see it picking up. I need to take a look at Denver's schedule for sure to confirm.
It's tough.
It is. I know
it is tough.
But for some reason, I'm picturing it being either really difficult or really easy early on. Can't.
So we'll see how that goes. We'll get back to that part for you. We have Darnell Mooney coming off now. I believe in Darnell Mooney this year. I think that he's going to have a great year, and he's going to be obviously the number one there. And he is a undersized, like, smaller guy that balls out when he gets the ball. Like, he is Tyreek Hill-esque when given the opportunity. Obviously not that fast, but I think that he's a better pass catcher. And I think he can have an explosive this year if Justin Fields can find him. What do you think, David?
Yeah, no, I've been very high on Darnell Mooney every season, and like he hasn't really produced the way you would like him to. But again, I think having Mitchell Trubisky for I think a year maybe, or either Mitchell Trubisky or
Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton and what's his face? Oh, that was gonna be my next pick, but that is okay.
All right, all right, I'm gonna give a suggestion on this next pick. See if we can go with tight ends. Oh, Gabe Davis coming off is huge. And obviously, the worst pick you can ever do is an Eagles running back with Miles Sanders coming off. Now, David, what position are we looking at right now?
We are looking at tight end, and I'm going to give you my two options. I am going to stay away from Dawson Knox. I do not think he's going to have a good year. It's either Cole Kmet or Pat Freiermuth.
I was actually going to say go with Gesicki because he, to me, has the best catches. But if you want to go, God, Freiermuth is just a hard pick for me. It really is with Pittsburgh. But you know what? I have trust in Mitchell Trubisky. I think he's going to have a good year. And if he doesn't, I think Pickett will pick up. I will go with Freiermuth over Kmet because of quarterback situation.
For me, the reason, and I'm shocked that you are saying Gesicki because, again, the guy
but he can catch the ball. But he can catch the ball. Gesicki is a baller. We will check this out halfway through the season, I guarantee you Gesicki is going to have the better stats. Knox coming off right after. So that point is moot more than anything. Where do you want to go next? Because I do want to make a suggestion here.
I think I'm going to go with quarterback next.
Okay, I'm good with that. Hopefully the person coming off the board that I want will still be there, but let's see what goes here. I don't think he's going to go quarterback here. So, yep, Hunter Renfrow, my guy, Hunter Renfrow coming off the board.
And to pivot off of Hunter Renfrow, I'm going to go with Derek Carr. It's either Derek Carr or Dak Prescott.
You know me, I'm going Derek Carr to the day I die.
All right.
I'm going high on the Raiders in that division. We need points, and Derek Carr is going to put up points in a great offense going into this year.
I agree.
Now, that being said, I think we could have gone one more round, but I do
think so as well.
But I think quarterbacks are going to start popping off right here because Aaron Rodgers, Stafford, and Dak are still on the board. And really after that, that's where the fall off happens. So the next three guys are definitely going to be Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers, and Matthew Stafford. So maybe that was the quarterback to start the run right here because we'll
see in a second.
We still have a few teams that do need a quarterback or even just that backup guy. So London, I don't know how I feel about it. Rookie coming from USC. Atlanta is just a big question mark for me. And that's where I have issues. Like that's where fantasy gets mucky and weird to me because you have so many players that are so talented that play on such crappy teams.
Yeah, this is very true. I think, again, like you got to think about who's throwing the ball to you. I do think that whoever throws the ball to him will be a decent comparable quarterback or like a competent quarterback. But it for me, I don't know if I would have picked him in this draft. I just think he might be someone that you could have picked off the waiver wire. But if you like him, you like him, you know?
So now we do have all of our main positions started. We have the quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and our two flex. So we're watching now. Obviously needed that defense and that kicker. I know you're not worried about that. Now we're going for our bench players, I'm assuming, to kind of pad that up, correct?
We can. I think I'm gonna want to go with a couple bench guys just to have them right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not super worried about, again, no kicker has gone off the board yet. No defense has gone off the board. I'm not super worried about defenses. I think you can always stream defenses because for me, unless you're the top 5 defenses, I think you can find matchups that work really well over the season.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not always super worried. That's why I'm not super worried about kickers or defense. I think they're both kind of interchangeable or they're both similar in that way that you can always find a good matchup week to week.
Yep.
You might get burnt a couple of times, but I think for the most part, you'd be you'd be pretty hard pressed to not find a decent kicker or decent defense week to week.
I agree with you. Now we do have Elijah Moore and Devontae Smith coming off the board. I actually like that pick. I think Devontae will be really good this year.
Devontae Smith came off the board really late in the other draft that I had too, and I was quite shocked because I think he's gonna have a pretty good year.
I agree. Chase Edmonds coming back, another sacrilegious pick because we don't know who the Miami running backs are really going to be this year. And honestly, he missed this pick in my opinion. Hopefully this person is here when I'm going there. We will talk to Sean in a second once he chooses his pick because I'm very interested on how he thinks his draft is going. We're going to be now just over halfway in this draft. And I think the end is just going to be a bunch of quick picks going in and out as quickly as possible.
Yes, I would hope people are starting to kind of say fuck it at this point. I hate drafts that really drag on. So like once stuff starts to what's the word? Once all the main players are off the board, like it's kind of like once you filled your roster, it's a little bit tough for me to understand why guys still like spend a lot of time picking. But hey, this is for money, so
that is true.
You're trying to get your money. That's I can respect it.
I agree with that there. I will also say I kind of like doing this during a draft. I'm not going to lie. I would literally reach out to people just to commentate on their draft because this is kind of funny. This is fun to kind of get into people's ideas and kind of just, roast them or congratulate them on great picks at any point. So still waiting for Sean. Sean is that guy that's going to make this draft like drag on. It's round 8. He's got 2 minutes and I feel like we've already been waiting here for 3 minutes. So what is this bullshit?
Talk. It's okay, buddy. Take your time. Really think it through, Great pick.
Cordell Patterson. Cordell Patterson was actually the guy that I was going to say that is a great pick. He is the flex man of the year. Don't run him at running back. Put him at flex because Cordell Patterson is a great option. What do you think, Sean?
Rashad Penny, damn it. Yeah. But no, and that's exactly why I needed a second flex looking at my team for one thing.
You there? First defense coming off the board.
Quick. That's interesting.
And then Sean immediately goes to auto draft as soon as we roast him. So obviously he felt some kind of way.
I was
feeling the pressure
on Cordell Patterson, and I hear you guys, and I'm looking at my clock, and my clock time like froze on like.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh. Brutal, but no, and you guys outlined exactly my thought process behind Cordell Patterson. I think Atlanta is an unknown, as you said, Chandler. But I mean, what is known is, hey, Mariota's. We might get some value in Mariota way later as far as his rushing ability, because that is going to be used, right? This is the same from Tennessee, and
Ramondre Stevenson, good pick.
Ooh.
With Madison before, though.
Yeah, he is loading up on running backs. He's got like 4.
He has all of his flex now. He has his court. Honestly, instant replay might be taking this league.
Decent team, to be quite honest, yeah.
Wide receivers where he's struggling, but to have Jonathan Taylor, Justin Herbert, which was a high pick, but I'm okay with it just because he does have the great running backs behind it, too. Yeah. So loading up, maybe some good trade capital down the end of the season as well. Going now with Buffalo Bills, how do you feel about a defense going this late or this early?
Oh, that is interesting because you never really know what happens with the defense. Like, I mean, it's a solid pick. They have a great front 4, even front 7. They've got great DBs. Like, it's a great defense. So you can never go wrong with a great defense, but you never know how how exposed the defense is going to get during the year. So picking them this early, if you feel like you've kind of satisfied most of the positions, like I mean, by all means, but this person also took Josh Allen in the second round. So I don't know.
I mean, I am okay with their team so far. Looking at it, they do have a solid. Derrick Henry, I do have an issue with. I think Tyreek Hill is okay. Jerry Judy's okay. Michael Thomas was a great pick. Alan Lazard coming off. That's where I'm going to have the issue, especially when we look at the wide receivers. Brandon Ayuk, Tyler Lockett, Treylon Burks, even Chris Olave. I know they're rookies, but I have more faith. Robert Woods, even in Tennessee, is going to be very important in that offense. So
take this in for a second. Chase Claypool and George Pickens are still on the board. Both like good wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. George Pickens right off the board there, as I say that.
Timing impeccable.
Great timing, yes. I don't know.
Do you pick Pickens over Claypool?
Yes, I do. Me personally, I think Pickens is a great receiver, and I think like the Steelers always draft really good receivers. I think Chase Claypool is not going to have a good year, but he's going to have a better year than Alan Lazard, in my opinion.
And getting lower now to these picks too, it's very important to like get those bench players that you really do like. I'm not really too high on anyone crazy. I do think there is some good players that you can grab, even in the running backs. Looking at the lower end running backs, they might be backups, but the thing about these backups is they get an opportunity. Going way down the list, honestly, Jamal Williams, I actually took him in my other draft because I think that he has a chance to play if Swift has issues. So, and I think Jamal Williams has a chip on his shoulder. He's getting old, but I feel like he just wants to go out there and score every single touchdown he possibly can.
And Brandon Ayuk off the board, great pick. I think that's like a really good steal at the ninth round. Ninth round, like. Brandon Ayuk, great pick, in my opinion.
Homer going with Tyler Lockett. Sean, how do we feel halfway through our draft?
Trey Lance off the board. That's Dak Prescott's still on the board.
Dacry Fitzgerald Prescott is indeed still on the board.
That is crazy.
If you guys ever watch Speak for Yourself, Uncle Jimmy, man, that was too fun.
How do we feel about this halfway through?
You know what? I'm happy with a couple things. There were 2 players particularly. Devonta Smith was one I was on before my Cordero Patterson pick. That was one I was really hoping to capitalize on. But again, all the props to Trey all day. But again, overall, I'm feeling decent about this. There are a few mid-round picks who I am very happy with. I'm happy securing Tyler in the 9th round, to be frank with you, because I think he'll have more opportunities than DK Metcalf will. Again, what is Pete Carroll going to scheme? Quick passes so that then they can run the ball, and then the occasional deep ball for DK Metcalf, which will be, again, Pete's, like, at this point, the offense in Seattle could have been can be telegraphed miles away. Like, it's not the most, like, it's one of the least complex offenses.
Mm-hmm.
I think, again, Tyler operating in the slot will give me some good value in the 9th round.
Especially with DK, like you said, going to take a lot of that. Everyone's watching him, and Tyler Lockett's probably one of the best deep, like, downfield receivers that we have in the NFL. People forget how well Russell Wilson wouldn't have those deep ball passes if it wasn't for Tyler Lockett on the end of those catches. So, so we looking grades. What do we grade ourselves this deep into the draft?
If we're talking about my team exclusively?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to give myself a B+.
Okay. I respect it. Where do you think your team hinges on?
Define hitches, sorry.
Like, where do you think your team really needs to perform in order to really perform well this year? What players are very important?
Ertz, Lamar, Ertz and Lamar particularly. And then because I think I have guaranteed value in Cooper Kupp. I mean, man, he's just.
I got you.
You know.
All right, so I'm gonna get to David. I'm sorry, Sean, to cut you off because I might walk away on this pod right now. You went with Kadarius Toney.
He's a baller. I'm sorry. I know that we've talked about this so many times, but he is a baller. Like there's no doubt in my mind that he's gonna have a good year, regardless of whether or not Daniel Jones has a good year. I think Kadarius Toney will have a good year.
Okay, so
he is a bench player currently on the team. I think he has the opportunity to move up.
Who are you thinking right now? By the way, real fast.
So we should probably shore up our running back position.
James Robinson, 100%.
Absolutely not.
Why? James Robinson's when he comes back from injury, he'll be perfectly fine. He's going to ball out. But if you want who else are going to go here?
For me, I think he's going to end up being relegated to like a third down back type deal because Travis Etienne will be on the field more. And for me, I don't know if I trust.
All right, so where are we going with you? Where do you think we're going?
So I am I'm like trying my best to figure this out here because there's not a lot left in terms of players.
I'm okay with Michael Carter because he is a starter.
Michael Carter is someone that I was looking at, but I was also looking at Tyler Algier, who is technically he is a rookie and he does have to share the backfield with Cordero, but I think he's also a very good player and will have a solid bench type year where you can insert him in a couple times and have him go off. But I think I will go with Michael Carter because I think the Jets offense will be good this year. So I'm going to go with Michael Carter.
All right. So we're going to go back to the ones before.
Two New York guys.
Yeah. James Cook coming off the board. Christian Kirk, who I think actually may have a decent year as the Jaguars if he's not your first receiver, which he's not. There's your Dakari Prescott coming off the board. Pollard coming off before Aaron Rodgers and the Rams defense. And now the quarterbacks coming off the board quickly. Chris Olave sandwiched in there with Matthew Stafford coming off the board. What do we think so far about any of these picks? Who do you like?
Matthew Stafford, great pick. Dak Prescott, great pick. Chris Olave will end up being a really good pick at the end of the year, I think. But at the start, might not produce as much. But again, solid picks for if you're thinking I'm gonna be in the playoffs for sure. Those are solid picks.
So Robert Woods and Nyheim Hines coming off now. So Rams defense in the 9th round. Is that a good pick for a defense? I don't hate it. I don't hate it. With the Super
I don't
Bowl.
love it, to be honest. Okay. I don't love it because, again, as much as the Rams, first of all, the Rams are going to have a really tough schedule. Second, the Rams defense has never really been one to be super stifling, at least in the last year, they weren't super stifling. They're a solid defense. They have good pieces on that defense, but as a whole, I like defenses that play well as a whole and just create turnovers, especially in fantasy football. I really like defenses that create turnovers, and I don't know if the Rams are that defense for me. To be honest, the best defense that you can never go wrong with in fantasy football is the Patriots defense. If for anyone who is looking for that,
I agree. I can actually truly agree with you. Now, Sean's going for his pick. Sean, what do you have to say?
Sean's dialed in. He's focused.
I definitely agree with your take on the Patriots pick, David. That's so true, man. Right now, I do have some options, but
dang, I just realized we have so much Raiders stock.
Yeah. You really went deep with the Raiders.
Hey, that's okay.
I mean, it's only 3. It's not too bad. Now, by the way, the Stephon Diggs pick, I'll applaud you on that one. I do really like that pick. That was a good one to go with. Now, Sean went with the Buccaneers defense.
He had the auto pick again.
What the hell? What the? No.
Did your thing freeze again?
Yeah, legit.
Damn.
You need to make your queue right now, and so
change your Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Oh, that's brutal.
No. I mean, it's not a bad pick.
It's really not.
To be quite honest, like I said, if you're gonna pick a defense that's gonna be stifling the Buccaneers defense, I'm not a bad pick.
I'm not high on the Buccaneers defense, to be frank with you. I think Levante David is a stalwart at linebacker, but I do think Devin White flashes. Devin White is not consistent in coverage, man, which is a hot take, I know. But
no, he's very similar to Miles Jack.
Yes, thank you, Chandler. That you couldn't be more right. Again, I coached linebackers for a long time, and I was not sold on Devin White. If I were to pick any defense, I would have rather. I almost would have rather picked the Ravens defense or the Niners, than the Buccaneers defense. To be frank with you, too, I think that
I have a sneaky pick on defense, but I'm gonna keep it to myself because I think they're still gonna be on the board when we pick.
All right, so we have Chase Claypool coming off and Henderson coming off after that. How do we feel about Claypool this late in the draft?
It's a good pickup. I think that's like someone that may have been on the waiver, I think he would have been on someone's team, but for me, I think that's like a pretty decent pickup. I don't think he's gonna have a good year personally, but like if he does have a good year, he's gonna have a really good year. So we'll see what happens.
So we're getting here to the later half of our draft. If you want to, do you know who you want for the top 4 in your NFC standings going into the 2022 season?
Who I want or who I have?
Who you have? Who do you think are going to be the top 4 teams in the NFC?
I have the Buccaneers.
Hold on. So we do.
Oh, we'll do it.
Yeah. Okay. So who do you have coming in 4th in your NFC?
I think the Buccaneers come in 4th, actually.
Okay. And what are the reasons?
I just feel like they do have a easier division, one of the easier divisions. I think they will have a couple losses that will drop them down to 4th, especially late in the year. I know Tom Brady does turn it on late in the year, but again, he is getting older. The later the season, the more banged up he's going to get. And I think, it's just later in the year, he's not going to be as good, in my opinion. I just think
I can see that. I can completely see that. So for me, don't worry, we'll get to all that. I'm going to do my 4th and we'll get to that. So my 4th in the division, I actually had the same exact idea as you with a different team. I went with the Packers in 4th in the NFC because the Packers do play in, again, another weaker division, but I think that division is a little bit better than people give it credit for. I think the Lions are going to be a better team. The Vikings are a better team, and the Packers are a worse team. And I don't think they're going to have the easy walkthrough they have. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have the receivers to throw to, even with Devontae gone. And honestly, I don't have a lot of faith going into this year in the whole system altogether. So the Packers being 4th, being the winner of that division, but not necessarily being the top team in the NFC like they were last year. So since then, we've had Treylon Burks coming off the board, Tua Tagovailoa, Sky Moore, and the first kicker off the board, the man, the champ, Evan McPherson. So,
wow, Justin Tucker is getting disrespected a little bit. That's crazy.
I agree with that. If you don't take Justin Tucker, number 1, I'm kind of shocked by it. But Tua Tagovailoa coming through as the backup quarterback, I would hope. How do we feel? Chuba Hubbard, the first Canadian, second Canadian that I know of coming off the board.
Interesting pick.
I think Chuba, I mean, to me, McCaffrey's going to get hurt. So I don't like Chuba's going to get a lot of first team reps this year.
I don't know about that. I think there's someone else there that's creeping in the dark, but we'll see.
So with this coming through now, you're third in the NFC. Who do you think's coming up in third in the NFC this year?
So I really struggle with this one because I do think I have a dark horse, but I'm not going to pick them in this conversation. I will be going with the Packers. I think the Packers will more than likely be the third best in that conference. I think they will. Again, you have arguably one of the top 5 quarterbacks of all time on your team. You're bound to do well. I think it's going to be a struggle at the start of the year because who is he going to throw to? He's got to gain some trust in his receivers right away. And I think, it's going to be a little bit tough, but I think eventually they'll figure it out and they will end up again owning that division as they have for the last few years. And I have them going third.
I agree with you. But I also have to say, I know who your dark horse is.
Who do you think it is?
Okay. Maybe not. I'll give you a chance to be a homer and take it away. Please don't tell me you think the Giants are going to do better than the Bucs this year.
Oh, no.
Okay. So is your dark horse going to be the Vikings or the Lions?
Vikings.
Yeah. So I know that. Justin Tucker coming off the board. Miguel, great pick. I do like this going in the 11th round. Okay. So for my third, I actually went with the Eagles coming in the third. I know that the Eagles are going to be really good this year. They're going to have a great defense and playing in another weaker conference. I don't have faith in the Cowboys. I have faith in this team, not that much in Jalen Hurts, but all in all, with a not tough schedule, I think a third place finish for them is great. They will be playing the 8th seed in the first or 7th seed in the first round. And we'll have to see who that is because there's going to be a lot of random teams in the NFC coming out in those 5 through 8. So the Eagles, I do have a little bit of faith in, and I think that they just beat out the Packers because their division is slightly worse than what the Packers division is.
Yeah, so, I think. Yeah, I agree with that. I like the pick. I think I could have gone either way, but I do have the Eagles.
So
if we're gonna go to it next,
we'll wait till our draft comes and we go. Now Gesicki goes to Sean. Great pick. I do like this late with Kmet right after. I would like I said, I have faith in Gesicki. Sean, why did we go with Gesicki here?
I think it's good value in the 11th round. I think particularly, I think Waddle and Gesicki, I think will have a lot of production earlier on, right? And I like Gesicki plays. He's a very athletic tight end, and again, Tua's I'm probably higher on Tua than you or David Chandler, but I
definitely higher than me.
I feel if you gave him a good offensive line, though, when is he actually had time to make decisions? Like, he doesn't have his offensive line by PFF is rated as the worst. Like, so in the context of pass blocking, I need to specify, but still, right? Like, he has no time to throw. He's very, very limited for time. So again, I like the idea of, because Gesicki is going to be available on those quick routes, right? So that's really my reasoning behind that pick.
I can see that. I like it. It's a great pick for me. I like Gesicki. I think Gesicki is one of the top 5 tight ends in the league. Truly for skill wise, maybe not on the team to show it, but skill wise, Gesicki is up there. James Robinson coming off the board. I do think that's a good pick for Trey. Trying to see who he has a lot of running backs. He is very running back heavy. He's got his one Jalen Hurts quarterback, no defense and no. Does he not have a tight end? Still doesn't have a tight end and still doesn't have a kicker. So very different draft for him, going really heavy. I think maybe trade capital down the road.
I don't know. I think he is like Trey. and I have been friends for a while. Very unconventional guy, so I think he's just being Trey, which is respect to him.
Kirk Cousins coming off the board. So now we have Jimmy with both his quarterbacks now, Kirk Cousins and Matthew Stafford. Now, like I've said before, Kirk Cousins is in a great situation because you had Kevin O'Connell who coached Jared Goff and coach Matthew Stafford. And if you put those two players together, you get Kirk Cousins. That's what I'm trying to say. The bad in Jared Goff and the good in Matthew Stafford creates Kirk Cousins. So Tyler Boyd coming off the board, Garrett Wilson after that. We are on the board here. Where are we going?
We are going to go with the kicker because we have basically filled most of our needs. We're going to go with the kicker, and we're going to go with Tyler Bass.
Okay.
As I alluded to earlier.
You think that Buffalo is going to score a lot of points this year?
Oh, yeah.
And that's what it is kickers are reliant on their true offense and how much their offense is going to score. It's very important. That's why Justin Tucker, being probably one of the greatest kicker of all time, his team scores a lot or puts him in opportunity to go for field goals. Now, we do have all of our positions really filled, very stacked up. We don't have a backup quarterback. Do you think we're going to go? Where are you thinking next for yourself?
To be quite honest, I will be going with a defense. I think it's time to start to pick a defense. There's still one on the board that I really like. But also, again, I think we can rest easy with the quarterbacks. I think there are going to be a couple left over that are starters as of right now.
Is Gardner Minshew still available? That's the most important.
We will not be picking Gardner Minshew. I'm just going to put that. Let that one go right now. We're not picking Gardner Minshew.
Okay, so where we're going defense.
So on defense, I have three defenses that I really like. First being the San Francisco 49ers. I think they have a great defense. I think they have great pass rushers. And they have pretty solid. They have a pretty solid defensive back core. And then I also really, really like the Indianapolis Colts. I think they turn the ball over quite often, and I like that in the defense. And then New England. I just think they will always be a solid pick, especially if they play a lot of rookie quarterbacks.
I was gonna say, do you want to wait? Because honestly, I think that would be your pick.
Yeah, I think okay. So then let's go with the quarterback. Let's
we can actually let's go with the Patriots now. I'm okay with the pick now. No matter what, everyone we want to be there. Go with the Patriots. I know it's a low ball, but we know they're gonna be a top 10 defense because they have been a top 10 defense. How long, David?
I think the last 10 years they've been in the top 10.
So I'm okay with the Patriots at this point.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going for our second in the NFC. Who do you have second in your NFC this year?
In my second place, I do have the Eagles. I think they will be a very good team this year. And I know that's kind of a big pick or just it's a very interesting.
It was
pick.
A toss up for me. I hope you know for the second and third. Yeah.
Again, they have probably the weakest division in the conference, and I think they just have the best team in that division. And I think they have a pretty easy schedule as well, like a relatively easy schedule. So I just feel like they're poised to have a good year, and I think they could they could be the second best team in their conference.
I like that. I'm good with that. I actually have the Bucks coming second. It's not because I have necessarily truly the Bucks are still a great roster. They really are. They have a great running back core. They have great receivers. They even have good tight ends. Still, their defense is still a great defense. Even if you're not huge on White or anything like that, their defense, they're big up front and in the middle. They're great on the outside. Todd Bowles, I want him to do well. I think they'll perform better with the fact that Byron Leftwich is just calling all the plays and they don't have to worry about Arians there. I think that actually helps them. Arians was great for the motivator guy and just knowing what he knows. But when I think about it, I love Byron Leftwich. I want him to be a head coach. I love Todd Bowles. I love what they're doing there, and they're going to be really good in that second spot. And maybe that will help them because they'll be at home. It won't be against the Rams. I'll tell you that much. They won't have to worry about the Rams coming to them until it gets to possibly the NFC Championship. So that's who I have going number 2. Since we've been talking, we have Valdez-Scantling coming off the 49ers defense, Harrison Butker, and Jamal Williams. So any of those really reach out, like speak to you at all?
I think Valdez-Scantling is going to be I think he's gonna have a good year. I do. He does have a lot of trouble catching the ball, which again is kind of hard when you are a receiver,
a wide receiver.
But he is very fast, and he does have Patrick Mahomes who can throw the ball to him very far. I do think if he can figure out his hands, he's gonna have a good year. So that's not a bad pick. Honestly, the team is looking pretty nice. They do have Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Valdez-Scantling. If they can manage to predict who the 2 top performing receiving options are on the Chiefs, I will be auto drafting next year because they are currently auto drafting and they have a lot of stock in the Chiefs, just like we do in the Raiders.
So it's like the AFC West is like a passing league or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
So the Colts are off the board. So obviously you're on something. Watson felt the same way because the Ravens are still on the board, the Chargers and the Saints. How do you feel about the Colts over those 3?
Oh yeah, like I said, like the Colts, the 3 guys that I just mentioned are the 3 defenses I just mentioned are the 3 defenses that have gone in the last
3 picks. Yeah.
Picks. So, yep. I mean, to me, I like, again, it's very obvious who always ends up having a really good team. They like, again, when I pick defenses, I pick good schemes, and I pick good players, and I pick easy schedules. And so the Colts have kind of all 4, in my opinion. I think they always have good players. They have very good defensive backs. They have very good linebackers. They have a very good front 4. There are no real holes in that defense. Mm-hmm. So to me, great pick.
And that division as well.
Yeah, exactly. And 49ers always seem to have a good defense. They always kind of turned up at the end of the year too. So that's never a bad thing to have. And the Patriots are the Patriots, and we know the stats on the Patriots. And yeah, like there's to me, it couldn't have worked out any better.
I agree. So you literally, I guess we call you the fantasy draft evaluator because you went back to back to back. So, and I think that went in the way you would actually pick it in your own draft. You would I think that truly you would go with the Patriots just because consistency. You would definitely go with the 49ers next and then the Colts. So Sean goes with Landry next and then Mark Ingram for Miguel. So what was the thought process on Landry with Sean?
It's a good pick.
Hey, thanks. I think I don't trust Michael Thomas's health for one thing. I just don't. And the fact that Taysom Hill is listed as a tight end gives me question marks on what the tight end core is going to be. Right now, hey, they have Jameis Winston and they have a decent offensive line. Actually, decent's underrating it. They have a very good offensive line in New Orleans. He's going to have time to throw. And so Jarvis Landry is going to be one of his, on many plays, I think it'll be his first read.
I agree. Jameis Winston, I trust. I will say that. I think that he is a dark horse if you want an MVP candidate this year. Like if you really want to go into the weeds and get a MVP, you go and you want to bank, you go with Jameis Winston.
Oh, pal. That's
I'm just saying, hey, you got to think about his year last year. Even before he got hurt, he was playing very well. And y'all forget he was scoring touch. I know he threw for 30 interceptions, but he still led the league in touchdowns when he played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And who was their coach? Derek Cutter. Wow, great. So I mean, give him a chance. Don't write him off just yet. Okay.
Okay. I need you and both your and David's insight on something.
Okay.
I'll say this much. I'm eyeing another defense. Drafting 2 defenses seems kind of absurd. Like, I'm really not happy with the Buccaneers defense. I don't think that's going to hold up at all. I'm genuinely contemplating drafting a second defense, which is kind of brutal, but really.
I don't necessarily love any of the defenses left. I would take the defense that you have over.
I take the Ravens.
I think the Ravens might be okay.
I take the Ravens. I'd even take the Cowboys.
No,
actually, I would actually take the Broncos.
Please don't take the Cowboys because I do not want to see you.
I would take
yelling
the Broncos
every week.
The Broncos, the Browns, or the Steelers. To be quite honest,
Steelers, yes. Do not take the Broncos piece of that division.
That is fair. Don't take the Broncos. I would either go with the Browns, the Steelers, or the Ravens. I think those are
that
all
division is trash. Ravens or Steelers is who I would narrow it down.
Exactly. Which is that's what I'm thinking, but unfortunately, I'm gonna have to draft based on need in this last round.
So I think that's Ravens or Steelers is a great pick. So we've had Justin Fields going off the board. I know that was a quarterback that David was eyeing. I'm glad Justin Fields came off the board. I do not want Justin Fields. I'm telling you right now, I do not want Justin Fields. I just don't have faith in the Bears, and they're going to be playing in that weather all year round. Like, people don't understand how cold it is up there. Miguel goes with the
just
Ravens.
Made your picks easier. Go with the Steelers.
Sean, I'm assuming going with the Steelers here. Robinson coming off from Washington. Ravens was a great pick. I think that's Miguel's first defense taken. Great defense to take. I do like it. I'm okay with that pick so late to get the Raiders or Ravens defense is a really good pick. So David, right before our first pick comes up, who is your number one NFC team?
My number one NFC team is going to be the defending champions. It's very hard to do, but I think they get back to where they were. And it seems like Sean may have been auto-drafted. Wow. Oh, no, he has to pick a kicker. Makes sense. But yeah, I like I said, I do like the Rams as going number one. I think they have a stacked team again. They didn't really lose much. They gained quite a bit, and I think they're gonna have another good run. Matthew Stafford is still very much in his prime. Cooper Kupp still very much in his prime. Allen Robinson gonna have a good year. It's just I don't see them losing many games this year. So
I agree. Rams, I mean, one more year with Matthew Stafford under the helm of a Sean McVay offense, they're only going to be better. Cooper Kupp is only going to be better. And Allen Robinson's going to help that team so much more. That defense stayed together. That running back crew is more people. And you know how he is. If he has more people, he's ready to go. So I really do like the Rams this year. They are my number one team of the NFC this year. And you know how I feel about them. They could make it back to the Super Bowl. This team, like a lot of teams, decline after winning a Super Bowl. And this is not one of those teams. It's not like they lost Peyton Manning with the Broncos. They kept their quarterback. And this might be the next dynasty that we see if Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp stay there. And because this defense may not go anywhere. And even without Aaron Donald, they still have a big defense. They still have a big front four. And they figured out a way to bring everyone back, which is very difficult to do. But they figured it out. And they're going to be great this year. So I have the Rams definitely coming up here. All right, David, what are we thinking for our pick here?
All right. This one's a little outside of the scope of people that we've even mentioned, but I'm thinking we go with a rookie. A Cowboys rookie at that. He is gonna be on an offense that is going to throw the ball quite a bit. And not only throw the ball, but throw it deep. And he is going to be the wide receiver 2 for at least 3 weeks or so, which is to me is good enough. A wide receiver 2 on a Cowboys team is a wide receiver 1 on any other team. I think he's going to have a pretty good year. So I do want to pick Jalen Tolbert, but if you have anyone else, we can go with that too.
No, I can take that. Honestly, Devontae Parker, number 1 wide receiver for the New England Patriots, wouldn't be bad, just because I think he's going to have a good year with Mac Jones and he's going to be a focus. Because I think Mac Jones is going to have a great year. I'm okay with the Tolbert pick. Another surprising pick still available is Mecole Hardman. I think Mecole Hardman is going to be very important this year, and I wouldn't oppose to a DJ Chark pick, but I think he's DJ Chark. Wow. Can't even say his name, but I don't think he's going to be well in that offense. So Devontae is who I would go with, but if you want to go with Tolbert, I'll trust you on this one.
I didn't really think about Devontae. I don't know if he is going to be their number 1 or if it's going to be Hunter or Henry, because again, Patriots offenses usually like to run through tight ends, but for some reason, I think Parker is a good addition to that team. So I will pick Parker because I do like him. And we are running out of time, so I think I'll go with that pick. But you're gonna like my next pick, though.
I know who your next pick is, and I do approve, and I think it's actually a great pick for this round.
Yes. I think you're gonna like this one. I guess you can't see my screen, but yes,
I can see who's in queue.
Oh yes. Hey, I will be going with Trevor. I think he's a great pick to have in the 14th round. A nice little backup quarterback. If he starts having a good year, could be a sneaky good pick.
All right. So Sean, what do you have to say?
I wanted to add on to your LA Rams point because you are right. You are not only that, the big addition that they made to their defense, not just retaining their players, but addressing their area of need or of weakness, which was They literally signed my favorite player of all time, man.
Yep.
That hurt like immensely. That was a brilliant move by them because again, he brings that veteran leadership, and at the same time, he's gonna get the other guys lined up in positions where they can win. Right? Aaron Donald is guaranteed to a double, if not sometimes a triple team, as we've seen. Right? So it's going to vary. I think I couldn't agree more with your take. The Los Angeles Rams, I think, will end up at very least, like I bet a lot of money on them being in the NFC Championship game.
I agree 100%. I 100% agree with you. I'm assuming you're going with your defense here, or are we going to wait a little bit longer for the next last pick?
We're going to wait. I'm not sold on the Steelers. I wasn't sold on the Steelers defense. Again, they have an amazing pass rush, but buddy, that's secondary. Again, like Seattle's, half of them could end up selling insurance.
Do you know what the issue with the Steelers is too? Is that their offense is going to put them in a lot of bad situations.
I couldn't agree more. They're going. I'm not sold on Trubisky like you are. So that's why I'm very hesitant on picking the Steelers defense.
I get you.
I'm going to stick with the Tampa Bay defense. I'm not happy with it, but I can still see them being a top 10 defense. And in this case, I think it's only appropriate. Where is it? Here, give me a second.
Chandler.
Yeah.
Chandler.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you decide who our last pick is from the queue. Just kind of remove everyone that you don't like. Wait, did you put Taysom Hill in our queue?
No, I didn't. I promise you I did not put Taysom Hill. Remove that, man.
Oh, God.
Who is our backup for? Go with your the 201 ADP.
Okay.
Average. Yeah. I like that one personally. And then so going for our NFC picks for the 2022 season, David, who are your top 4 teams in 2022?
For my top 4 teams in 2022, in the NFC, I've got the Buccaneers in fourth place, the Packers in third place, the Eagles in second, and I've got the LA Rams, defending Super Bowl champions, in first place.
For my NFC top 4 teams, I have the Packers coming in the 4th spot. I have the Eagles coming in the 3rd spot. I have the Buccaneers coming in 2nd, and the defending Super Bowl champions coming in with the 1st seed, the Los Angeles Rams. That is my top 4 teams in the NFC. All right, so that saved us about an hour after the draft. But anyways,
you can hit me with the trivia question too if you want.
Okay, so my trivia question that I have, give me 1 second here. So this is going to be a reoccurring thing. This is the trivia question coming from Bovada Sports. Trivia question coming from Bovada Sports Gambling, our trusted gambling partnership. We will be using them every single week for the rest of the season. Use our link. We will put that out there as well. The question is, how many times has an NFL game ended with a score 3-0? Is it A2, B3, C4, or D5?
3 times.
It is a total of 5 times. It is D.
Wow.
So the 1977 Falcons versus the Bills won. The 1979 Chiefs versus the Buccaneers won. The 1982 Dolphins versus the Patriots won. The 1993 Jets versus the Commanders, the Jets won. And 2007 Dolphins versus Steelers, the most notable snow game, the Steelers won that game.
I'm not great at trivia apparently because I did not. I thought 3 would be it because it just 3-0, 3 kind of makes sense. But
I think that was actually a really good question. I personally, when I figured that one out, I thought that was very different. I'm really okay with it. We had Mac Jones come off the board, Ronald White coming off the board, Nick Folk, Gage Dotson. We have there goes your player right there from Atlanta. How do we feel about Aljair coming off?
I think it's a great pick. Honestly, I think he is, like I said, he's going to end up being that running back number 1. I think.
No, we did not just have the Texans masseuse draft Deshaun Watson in the final round.
Oh, I'm not laughing.
Absolutely no chill. No, that is a great joke. That I am going to text this man right now.
That's a terrible pick. Abhorrent, deplorable. I don't know any more words that could say terrible.
He waited for the last round. Honestly, it's not a terrible pick.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? He's probably gonna play the season. So
you're only gonna have him for 3 games. That's the issue.
Oh, there's Tolbert gone.
But you only have Deshaun Watson when you think about, because our games end on the 14th, right? It's the 14th week. So you only have him for technically 3 weeks.
Hey, it could have the best 3 weeks of his life. So you never know.
He's probably had the best 3 weeks of his life before this point, but
yeah, he does you're not wrong. I won't make any jokes.
Sean going with Watson, the new rookie with Green Bay with his last pick. How did we feel about that, Sean?
I feel pretty comfortable with it just because it does take Rodgers some time to warm up to receivers, right? But Green Bay does seem to find a lot of value with their wide receiver picks. I will say that, in history, and both wide, not quite to the same degree as say the Steelers, but they do certainly seem to find value with their wide receivers. At the same time, and same thing with offensive line. Green Bay seemed to find such great offensive line starters in the mid to late rounds. It's absurd. If only Seattle could have done that.
They did with a quarterback, so I think you're okay there.
Sure, but if we look at Pete, I love Pete Carroll, but man, is drafting. I like Jordan Brooks as well. By the way, he's actually an up and coming linebacker. Certainly within top 10 range this year. But man, we've reached on our first round picks have been just like to summarize them. Who?
That's very fair. All right, so we'll hit you up at the end of the draft. We're coming up to our end here. Jacoby Myers coming off the board, Ian Smith after McManus. And honestly, David, I think this could be a steal of the draft. I really think that Hayden Hurst going to Cincinnati is huge. I don't think people realize like how big that was. Being able to have the opportunity to get Hayden Hurst. I love that pick. I know like it might not be the thing. And Blankenship is Mr. Irrelevant. I don't think he's irrelevant, but great pick coming on the end. So what we're going to do now, just to finish this off, I think we should rate everyone's draft. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. So we'll start with Sean. So we'll get Sean to be able to go off the pod for him, let him have the rest of his night. So Sean's most important players, definitely going to be Cooper Kupp, AJ Brown, and Debo, correct?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think Lamar. I think Lamar is gonna be pretty important as well for Sean.
So this is the first team we're looking at. So our pick our grade might be a little high or a little low. What do we think we're grading his final draft? Looking at this,
great top end starters. The bench kind of leaves a little bit. Actually, honestly, I would say like a B plus.
I would too. I think
he's got a solid
the
team.
swing players are Gesicki and Patterson. Those are the two big swing players, and I think Landry is a great steal as well at the end of the draft. So, Sean, we give you a B plus. What do you have to say?
Hey, I appreciate that, guys. You know what? I agree with you guys quite a bit. Particularly, I think what will kind of help me swing a few games, particularly is, I think Lockett. I think Lockett can actually give me some value, particularly depending on when he's playing. Rachaad White as well. I know I drafted him very late, but I don't trust Leonard Fournette in health, man. You know,
he ate a lot of hamburgers. I will give him that.
Yeah. Wow. But he's on that Eddie Lacy-esque kind of thing, man. Like, whew. So we'll see what happens, man. But again, gentlemen, thanks so much. Thanks so much for the time. I really appreciate it, and I hope we can do this again next year, man. This was a fucking blast.
Thank you for being on. We greatly appreciate it. It was a blast and being able to talk to you for all of your thoughts, and honestly, thank you for spending time with us.
Hey,
yeah, thank you, Sean. Thanks for showing up. Really appreciate it.
Anytime, gentlemen. You two take good care. Be well.
Thank you. You too.
See ya.
All right. So now we're going with the instant replay next. This is honestly, I could see a top 3 finish for instant.
Yeah, he really snapped on his draft. Like if you're gonna draft first overall, that's like already a pretty big, like you already have a lot of pressure on you. I think for him, he's got Herbert, he's got Jonathan Taylor, he's got Javonte Williams. His receivers honestly could be a sneaky good bunch of receivers. He did not pick a kicker. That is to me interesting, but hey, you can stream kickers, like I said. He went with a lot of rookies, which again, like his bench does leave a little bit of wanting, but for the most part, not bad. I
think his top end talent is really strong. I agree. I think he's gonna have to do a lot of trades and waiver wires throughout this year. I think that's gonna be his gameplay. But I would throw out an A- for this draft for the instant replay.
I'm right behind you on that one. A- is a great spot for him.
Okay, so we're gonna go Tater next. Tater with not your favorite top end, but truly not bad all in all. A lot of gambles, I feel like, with this team.
Yeah, a couple of gambles for sure. Wait, if you scroll back up real quick, I'm using your screen now. Derrick Henry is kind of the biggest gamble to me, which again is probably going to be pretty surprising for people. I think Derrick Henry at number 2, he could have had Cooper Kupp would have been a better pick in my opinion. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase, not so much, but still, even on like a lot of the running backs are injury prone, which does make it a little bit harder to just like stick to one person. I do think he has a decent team. I genuinely do. I think Elijah Mitchell is a bit of a risk, but could really pay off. Alan Lazard was kind of an odd pick for me too.
He kind of redeemed it with Treylon after that, but after Lazard, Pickens, Ayuk, and Lockett came off the board.
Yeah, so I mean,
I'm going with a B.
Yeah, B. B's not bad. Actually, I'd go B minus C.
B minus C.
B minus
okay.
C plus. C plus. Sorry.
C plus. Okay, so yeah. B minus C plus draft on that. We have the Texans masseuse next. Christian McCaffrey coming off the board with at Evans. I think Evans is a great pick. I don't like the Tom Brady pick.
Evans
just
Tom
for
Brady
fantasy.
combo could have a great kind of could like in certain weeks will definitely be game changers because again they will have weeks where they just are like where they're both on the same page, but again, lots of stock in the Buccaneers, which I don't love.
I do. We can't even talk about us then. Dallas Goedert was a good pick. I do like that pick. Pickens is a great pick as well. I think that was a good call there. Solid defense with the Cowboys and solid defense with a kicker with Folk. All in all, I'm looking at probably for myself. Oh, and obviously the last pick, Deshaun Watson. I mean, obviously for this team,
that's definitely the make it or break it player on that team. A plus if we're looking at just Deshaun Watson alone.
I'm gonna go a little bit harder on him just because I don't like the top end. A lot of fragile in the top. The top 6 players might not play very much, so I'm gonna go with the B minus for this team.
I mean, I'm actually gonna be even harder on him because again, he has Deshaun.
You're gonna be harder on Deshaun Watson?
I don't think. Yeah, no. He's got DeAndre Hopkins on a team that's 6 weeks missing for.
He has the most suspended team in this.
Yes, he does. He does have the most games missed by any team so far. I think a C minus to be honest. Like the more I look at it, one where he drafted people just like kind of I don't love. And 2, the guys that he put on his team are very much guys who may not play very well or very much this year. Dallas Goedert, great pick, though. That I'll give him that.
All right, we're going to go with Miguel next. Miguel went with Austin Eckler and Jones as the top running backs. I don't love his 3rd-round pick with Kyle Pitts. Other than that, his receivers are pretty – he went with fast to go with it. All in all, a decent team. I don't love the Russell Wilson pick. The Ravens on the back end. Mac Jones, I think he's going to have starting by the end of the season over Russell Wilson, which is kind of crappy. And Njoku, sneaky late pick. I think he's going to have him start over Kyle Pitts by the end of the season too.
Interesting. I don't feel that way, but I do think you are correct. His team is kind of middle of the pack, I would say. So, I'd give him a C plus.
C plus there. I think I'll go with the same on you. Actually, no, because I think I'm going to go with a B just because I think he does beat out the Texans masseuse, and I had them at the B minus part. So, going with Sean, our guest today. Great first 3 picks.
Yes, very solid. First 4 picks, actually.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not too high on the J.K. Dobbins, but I guess
I'm pretty high on J.K. Dobbins. I'm high on the Ravens running game, so I will say great first 5 picks.
Honestly, I would have taken Cordell Patterson over Walker as well. So there is that for me. On the back end, Gesicki, great pick. I think the Buccaneers defense is actually a good pick. I know he wasn't in love with it, but I'm really okay with that pick. And Jarvis Landry is a steal. So the B plus that we had before, I think I'm okay with that. And I'll stay with that.
I'm definitely. I think honestly, I would go with an A minus because, like, again, he's got very good. Like, he's got. Or Lamar Jackson, top 5 in his position, in my opinion. Cooper Kupp, number 1 at his position, if number 1 or 2 at his position. Deebo Samuel's top 10. AJ Brown top 20. J.K. Dobbins.
Zach Ertz top 5.
Zach Ertz top 5, just based off of the fact that tight ends are very streaky and not very.
Gesicki top 10.
Gesicki top 10, I would say, yeah. Even
Prater.
Jarvis Landry is. Oh no, I'm looking at a different team. Colts defense.
Nope. Jarvis Landry was good. No, because we're looking at Sean's.
We're watching. Right. Oh yeah. So I would go like A minus.
Okay, so now we have Watson coming up next. Jefferson, Barkley. He had me until Fournette. Sutton was a good pick. He went with Trey Lance with his quarterback.
Good. I think it's a good team.
Aaron Rodgers came after. Matthew Stafford came after. Kirk Cousins came after.
I think he could have had I think he could. Actually, no. I genuinely. I think Trey Lance will have a better year than all of those other guys, fantasy wise.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, Trey Lance has the upside of running that those guys don't have as well as Trey Lance does. So I would say.
I do like. Sorry, you can finish your.
No, I would just say I don't like the only thing I'm like, and again, like I'm trying to look at it. I like Brandon Cooks. I like Mooney. I don't love Chase Edmonds. I don't necessarily like Naheem Hines. I think he could have gone with James Robinson. He could have gone like. I think James Robinson probably would have been a better pick than Naheem Hines, but it's a pretty decent team. I would give him like if we're giving ratings right now, I would give him like a C+.
C+. I do think that this is really important. The Colts and having the kicker there, Gay. I think that those are 2 really great back end picks.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson's a great pick. Saquon is the risky pick. Fournette, I'm going to go with the C+ as well. That's what you said, correct? Or you want with C?
Yeah, C+.
I think I agree with you there. Trey all day.
He had a very interesting draft. Very, very interesting. He went with Clyde, which I don't like. Kareem Hunt, who wants out, and I don't like that. James Conner
Smith is good.
James Conner's a good pick. Melvin Gordon's also a pretty good pick to me. Keenan Allen, not a great pick at 2, his number 2.
Yeah.
I think that's a very, very
Debo, hot. Evans, AJ Brown, Tyreek Hill. Yeah.
I guess so. He could have got Tyreek Hill, AJ Brown, and that's about it.
Colts.
I would have even gone
Packers.
with Travis Kelce.
Yeah. The quarterback.
I'd give him like a C.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you there too. Unfortunately, Trey, who was one of our guests, I would not hire him as my GM. I'm not gonna lie, Trey would not hire you as my GM.
C effort for me.
All right, so Jimmy
could have also had Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, instead of Jamar.
Instead of Keenan Allen, he could have had Stephon Diggs.
No, you took Diggs before.
Oh him. Yeah, you're right. I'm looking at it the opposite way.
Yeah, I mean he could have.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. So he could have had
Debo, Evans, Tyreek Hill, AJ Brown.
Yeah. Dang.
Yeah.
He really messed that one up.
So now we have Jim here. Najee Harris, great pick. CeeDee Lamb, terrible pick.
Mm-mm.
You like the pick in the second round?
Yeah, number one receiver on an offense that is going to be throwing the ball a lot. That is
Same
going
with
to
Michael
be.
Pittman.
Oh, I don't love Michael Pittman as much, but I don't think it's a bad pick.
George Kittle was a okay pick too.
He could have had who else? He could have had
AJ, or he could have had
AJ. I think AJ Brown
Johnson
would have been a better pick at that spot.
No, he couldn't. No, it's the other way. So Deontay Johnson. He could have had T. Higgins, Jalen Waddle, Cortland Sutton, McLaurin.
Oh yeah, Cortland Sutton would have been my pick at that spot, but
George Kittle, I like. Don't love his running backs.
Yeah, Breece Hall
and AJ Dillon. You do have Najee, so you should be good there. Yeah. Rams defense is good. Matthew Stafford is good. I say
back-to-back QBs though. Kirk Cousins and Matthew Stafford. I guess so. Yeah. Isaiah Spiller, not my favorite. I don't think he's going to see much for carries, but
I think Jacoby he'll be on the team this year. I think he'll actually end up starting him. I mean, it's very balanced. He did go very balanced approach, which I do like. I'll give him a solid B. I think I can give him a B.
I agree. I'd give him a B too.
All right. So these are the two auto picks, correct? Going to, okay. So Ian auto picks goes with Dalvin Cook, Nick Chubb, Mark Andrews, Cam Akers, Joe Burrow. Honestly,
auto pick did its job. I think on both, to be honest, if I could rate both of them right now, they're like a C+.
I would actually go with a B for this team for the Ian, because the receivers aren't terrible. Gabe Davis is going to have a good year. Amari Cooper will be the number one receiver there. Tyler Boyd's actually have a lot of good games. Aaron Rodgers is solid. 49ers defense, Carlson. I'll give him a B there.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. B. I would give him C+, B-.
B-, C+. I agree with you there. I'll give him a B- on that one. And then so for Bull mascot, Joe Mixon, Travis Kelce, I'm giving him a C-.
C-. Yeah. Yeah. I think a couple of guys I could have done without, but yeah, C-.
And then C- for you. So for us now, Devontae Adams, I love that pick. Stephon Diggs, I like that pick. Josh Jacobs, unfortunately, was our first running back, but I'm high on Josh Jacobs. Travis Etienne, I'm good with. Robinson, I think is going to have a great year. Pierce, I think you could have got him a little bit lower, but I'm okay with it. Freiermuth is a good tight end because, again, tight ends don't matter. Derek Carr, I think, looking at the quarterbacks coming after, I am still okay with it because I think Derek Carr is a dark horse for MVP. I hate your Kadarius Toney pick. Michael Gardner, I think, is a solid pick here, being a starting running back this late in the draft. Bass is a kicker I like. Patriots defense, I like. Devontae Parker, Trevor. I am very happy with our team.
Yeah.
Like, I truly getting this late in the draft, I truly think people always say 5 and 6 is like the hardest place to draft. I think it's a very good place to draft. I'm okay with what you did here. I really am. I'm going to give you an A. I really am going to give you an A. I think so far we probably have the most balanced, strongest team at this point in the draft.
Yeah, I'm not going to rate myself. I'm just going to let you rate the team.
No, what do you think? No. You got to do a GM.
I'm happy. I'm happy with with how I did with the draft. Like, I think having two top receivers on their team on very good offenses is never not a great thing to have. I think Josh Jacobs actually is going to have a sneaky good year. Travis Etienne, I think he's going to have a great year. Allen Robinson, honestly, is my proudest pick because I think he's going to have an absolutely amazing year. I think Derek Carr is going to be solid as always. Like, I don't see many holes in our starting lineup. I think if people start to drop, it might be a little bit.
I see consistency.
Yeah.
I don't see 5 points and then 15 points. You went with a true consistency draft. All the way from top to bottom. I think Kadarius Toney is probably your biggest pick, where he might not have a great time all the way. I know I went with the Carter pick myself, and I did the Parker pick. I think those are two great. I think Hayden Hurst is a great 15th round pick. And Trevor Lawrence might have some good, like there are some weeks where Derek Carr is going to play some defenses that I think I'd rather have Trevor Lawrence playing against.
I agree. I agree. Yeah.
So where do you think you give yourself truly?
I'd give myself like a B-, I think.
Really? You don't think you did? You don't think compared to the other teams?
Well, I mean, I've been pretty harsh with every other team, so I would like to be harsh with myself. So I'd
so we have
B-.
So just so you know, actually, we'll do this last one. So E-Man coming in here, Swift, Kamara, and Elliott to start.
I think Elliott is my only issue with the first 3 picks, but first 2 picks, great. I think in a 6-point touchdown, rushing touchdown league, you want running backs. I think Swift and Kamara, great picks. Higgins is another really sneaky good pick. I think Higgins is going to have a pretty good year. I think Jamar Chase is going to take a lot of the double teams, and I think Higgins is going to be left open quite a bit. Kyler will be a great pick till halfway through the season. I don't like the Marquise Brown pick. I think he's not.
I think he redeemed himself though, because he got Hunter Renfrow, and I think Hunter Renfrow is going to have a good year.
I agree, and I don't like the Dawson Knox pick. I also don't really love the Christian Kirk pick either. I think Christian Kirk might have a good year, but I would want to wait to see that.
I agree. As a Jaguars fan, I don't think Christian Kirk is the number 1 receiver on the team. And I know they paid him that way, but Tim Jones looked good. I know he's going to be the bottom half. Tim Jones looked really good in the preseason. Laquan Treadwell looks great, by the way. Like, believe it or not. And Marvin Jones is still on that team. And Marvin Jones is a very underrated wide receiver in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. And he also picked Julio Jones, which, again, I don't love that pick either.
I don't mind it because by the end of the year, I think Julio will be a good target for Tom Brady when they eventually get onto their mesh.
But as soon as Chris Godwin comes back healthy, I think Julio Jones's targets will go down. Like naturally,
that's true.
It'll go down. I don't know. I think Chris Godwin will be back pretty early in the season. So
his front top 8 rounds, I can deal with really very well. His top 8, I would give an A+. His bottom 6, I would give a C.
Yeah. Which averages out to around a B. So I would be okay with that.
I'm actually gonna give him a little bit higher. I'm gonna go B+. I think that he has some top end. His bench is gonna be terrible, I think, and he's gonna have to change it. But his top, I think, will do really well. Please don't forget, he might not even play Julio Jones all year.
Yeah,
really, right? So I'm gonna give him a B+. Where are you going?
I'll go with the B.
Okay, so I want you to know, looking at it, we only have 3 A's, and they're actually A-. Sean, the first one, A-. Instant replay, the number 1 overall team picks A-, and then I gave us an A, but you gave us a B-. So
yes,
all in all, pretty average. I think it's gonna be a lot of close games, and this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, I agree. It was a great time.
So other than that, episode number 20. I think this is a great episode 20. First 20 to come to your mind.
Tony Pollard.
I like it. Great job. Yeah. Jalen Ramsey stuck in my mind for some reason.
But he's now 5. So
I know that's why. So it doesn't matter. You beat me this week. I appreciate it. But for what's to check down, we have our NFC leaders down. We have our fantasy question or our fantasy draft. We had our trivia question. All in all, this is a great time. And until next time, everyone. Peace.